Meditation is easy. You just focus your attention on your breath or a transcendental sound, and when your mind wanders, you acknowledge it and gently bring it back in focus. And then you repeat over and over and over again. I know, right? It's not that easy. And it's very important to understand why this is the case. Not many meditation or mindfulness teachers explain this concept, so I'd like to take the opportunity to do that here, and hopefully it assists you in your practice. Most people think the goal of meditation is to not think about anything. Maybe you think you must clear your mind and just have no thoughts, nothing. But that is not the goal. Any proper meditation teacher will tell you this in their first class. Meditation is not about emptying your mind. It is about focusing your mind, either on your breath or some object or a sound. And then, when your mind wanders, you try to catch it, and then you just acknowledge that your mind wandered, and then you gently bring it back to the object of meditation. That's the nature of the meditation process. But there's a great science behind this meditative practice that hardly any meditation teacher touches upon. And I believe it is essential to understand that science so that you will not only improve your meditation practice, but you will broaden your vision and start seeing things for what they are. And it'll help you to make better decisions and experience peace even when you are not meditating. So the concept that I am speaking of is the science of how the mind works. When you meditate, you'll notice the mind is always active, wandering from one thing to the next. What to have for breakfast, what's on the news, what your friends might be doing today, what groceries to buy, etc. You try to focus on the meditation, but your mind doesn't cooperate. We have all experienced the frustrations of trying to get your mind to focus. For example, when you're reading a book and you turn the page, you realize, what have I just read? You just read the entire page, but your mind was somewhere else, and you forgot everything you just read. You tried to focus on reading, but your mind didn't work with you. By experiencing the challenge of quietening or controlling the mind, we get proof that we are separate from the mind and its contents. And this is an essential concept in meditation. You can understand that you are separate from the mind by analyzing the science of perception. Perception occurs when you detect stimuli in the environment, a sensation in your body, or some event directly through your body's senses, your vision, your touch, your taste, your hearing, your smell. Whenever there is perception, whenever you are aware of thoughts, images, sensations, and so on, two factors are involved. The first factor is the stimulus, that which is being perceived. An image, a sound, a thought, a sensation, some feeling. The second factor is the perceiver, the one who is aware of or is perceiving those images, sounds, tastes, smells, thoughts, or sensations. It is the perceiver who concludes through these stimuli or sensations that I am seeing a screen, or I am hearing music, I'm hungry, or I have to go to bed soon. If we look at the process of visual perception, then it gets really interesting. Let me ask you this. How is it that you see things? And you may say, duh, it's because I have eyes, dummy. But what if I put you in a room that's so dark that you can't see anything? You still have your eyes. So why can't you see anything? Well, it's because there's more involved than just your eyes. First of all, you need light. The process of seeing happens something like this. Light rays enter the eyes through the cornea, which focuses the light rays that pass through the pupil. The iris regulates the amount of light passing through and then focuses the light rays on the retina at the back of the eye. Then the optic nerve sends impulses to the brain where the visual cortex produces an image, which we can then use to interpret shapes, colors, objects, movement, etc. So from this we know our eyes don't produce the image, our brain does. Okay, so the brain produces an image. That makes sense. But then who perceives the image? The question is this: who is the perceiver? Who is that aware entity? Who is perceiving the thoughts, the images, the sounds, or the sensations? By analyzing the process of perception, you can understand that you are the perceiver. You can understand that you are not the thought or the sound or the image or the sensation that is being perceived. And you can understand that you are not the medium that is enabling perception, because that is the mind. You are the I, the self, or person who is aware of the ever-changing thoughts, images, sounds, feelings, and so on. You, the self, are the perceiver of the ever-changing contents of the mind. Let's do a little experiment. Look at an object. Doesn't matter what the object is. Anything that you see around you, just focus on that for a moment. Are you aware that you see the object? If you are, then say to yourself, I see the object. Focus your attention on the object for a few moments and then close your eyes. Now try to picture the object on the screen of your mind. Become aware of the fact that you, the perceiver, are observing or looking at that image as it appears in your mind. It's almost like watching a movie screen, but you are aware that you are not the movie screen. You are the perceiver of the movie screen. You are literally watching your mind. Just like we are not the movie screen, we are not our mind. Through this practice, you can realize that you are the viewer of your mind. You are the perceiver. You can observe your mind and its contents. If you haven't already, you can now open your eyes. When we meditate, we try to control or quieten the mind. But who is it that is trying to control or quieten the mind? Think about that for a second. Who is this that is trying to control the mind? The Vedic scholars state it is the I, the self, the eternal living being. We are not the mind nor its contents. We are the constant principle, the unchanging perceiver and observer of the ever-changing mind, or the movie screen, if you will. My mind is my possession. It is not me. Another example is that of a photo camera. The lens of the camera, with features such as diaphragm and aperture, is like the eye with its iris and pupil. Just like the eyes focus the image on the retina, and then an image is produced in the visual cortex, the lens focuses the image on the camera sensor, which then captures it to a memory card. And then the photographer can view the image. The photographer is the perceiver, the seer, the self who is perceiving the image. Once we understand that we are separate from the mind, we can appreciate why it's so challenging to tame the mind. Just like the movie screen or the photo camera, the mind is like a tool we can use for different purposes. And the more we get to know the tool and the more we master it, the more useful it becomes. But mastering the mind is a huge challenge. The mind is like a wild horse. It appears to have its own will, though in reality it doesn't. With enough practice, you can tame the mind and let it work for you. And this may sound very philosophical, but it's actually not very difficult to understand. After some practice, you'll start appreciating this concept more and more. Just understand that it is a gradual process. The more you ride the horse, the more it'll follow your directions. And it is very liberating to realize that you are not your mind, because the mind is a sitting place for an endless number of desires, demands, thoughts, images, speculations, and so on. When you identify with your mind, you get pushed and pulled and affected in various ways by the mind's ever-changing contents, be they images, thoughts, feelings, fears, desires. And as long as you identify yourself with your mind or the contents of your mind, it is very difficult to be at peace. But if you understand that you, the self, are not your mind or its contents, then you can be an unaffected perceiver or observer of the mind's contents, including its demands, desires, and so on. And in this way, you will not be disturbed by the mind's hassles. I hope this concept helps you to improve your meditation practice. If you like this video, then watch this video right here where I share 3 tips to build a meditation habit. Thank you so much for watching, and go do some meditation.